Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica here at Gambate Fitness in Los Angeles, California, and today we are going to work on a fundamental groin stretch, the frog stretch. There are a lot of versions of this one. We're going to show you the one that absolutely there's no way out of. Most people, when they're doing a center straddle stretch, get a lot of pressure in their knees, and that's what keeps people from doing the stretch. People who've done martial arts or gymnastics can do like a real straddle stretch, but for your average individual, a frog stretch is the ideal stretch. You do not need to use a big accordion mat like this. You can use anything you want. Most people don't actually even need a mat to do this stretch. I need a mat because I have screws inside of my knees, and when they grind on the concrete floor, it hurts a lot. So I really like pads. Frog stretch makes you look kind of like a frog that's been hit on the road. Roadkill frog. We could probably call this roadkill frog stretch, but I don't know, probably too much information. The most important thing in the frog stretch, we are going to start with knees wide, ankle bones flat on the ground. That is our most important thing. We're trying to have our two shins parallel to each other. Knees out, ankle bones flat on the ground, and then lean forward. We're trying to have our elbow directly underneath our shoulder. If it's too far out in front, it gets weird. If they're too far back, it gets weird. For your average individual, elbows closer to your belly button is better than elbows out beyond your shoulder line. When people put their elbows out above their shoulder line, they start to go into spinal extension, and they start to steal the stretch from their hips, and they start to turn it into a spine stretch like a puppy dog stretch. Elbows at the level of your shoulder or down towards your belly button line. Legs out, ankle bones flat on the ground, elbows underneath, and then here's the fun part. You can either go forward or you can go back, depending on what you need to stretch. For the most part, driving back will pull the femur kind of out of the hip socket, for lack of a better descriptive term. That's what most people describe the sensation like. Going all the way forward can also be an excellent stretch. In the middle is usually where people end up the most, but it can be either way. Set a timer for 2 to 2.5 minutes. Usually the first minute is relaxing just the top of the tension of the muscle, and then after that, you're gonna need to move your knees out a little bit, and then push your heels out. Remember, shins should be parallel to each other. We don't want them all the way out. All the way in is a different stretch entirely. Put them parallel and touch your ankle bones down to the ground. Drive back. If you move one knee out to do the stretch, pick both elbows up and set them back down. As one leg goes out, a lot of people will drift and they'll end up with their spine in a C shape. Picking the elbows back up and then driving back each time you reset your knees allows your spine to resettle into that center position. Try not to dump the spine, ribs toward the ground. Try and push the rib cage up to fire the abs. At the same time, push back, 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 back. Once you get to the point where you feel like you're prying your hip out of the socket, you're probably in the right spot. And then you need to hold that position for 1 minute to begin. 2 minutes is good. 2.5 to 3 minutes is even better. We're always looking in the range for our cool downs, somewhere in the range of 2 to 3 minutes. Sometimes we can also cycle stretches like this. We don't want to hold them for a long period every day. So some days you could do 90 seconds, some days 2 minutes, some days 3 minutes. It's just like time under tension for muscular contraction, for hypertrophy or some topic like that. Change the time under tension slightly each day so that your body doesn't adapt to that load fully.